Part 13. Taking stock of the people in the world, starting with the fate of the country. Author, Red Lotus. Chapter 151. As the picture continued to change, because Shishi slapped Majin Buu and was turned into an egg and killed by Majin Buu, Goku, Gohan and others who watched the scene in Dragon Ball worldview were also very angry. Under Piccolo's constant delay, time passed rapidly, and Trunks and Goten also got time to practice, and Goten expressed his desire to avenge his mother. As time went by, Majin Buu finally couldn't wait any longer, so Piccolo had no choice but to take Majin Buu to the spiritual time room. A big battle is about to break out, but after the combination, Gotenks is no match for Majin Buu. The battle between the two is also hilarious, making countless people in the world feel dumbfounded. Then, under the gaze of everyone, Gotenks transformed into a Super Saiyan and fought against Majin Buu again, constantly using various strange tricks. Piccolo, who had been watching the battle, even complained, "What the hell, this kind of tension-free battle?" Countless people in the world were also laughing at this. Really, there was no tension at all in the battle between the two, it felt like playing. Ha ha ha, these two made me laugh so hard. Speaking of which, Gotenks is just two children combined, and Majin Buu's mind is not very high, so it can be regarded as just playing. But people didn't expect that Gotenks had so many moves, which were completely different from the fighting methods of Goku, Vegeta and others. It was obvious that after training in the spiritual time room, the two men's combat effectiveness had improved significantly. However, with Gotenks' current strength, it is still very difficult to defeat Majin Buu. Yes, although his strength is very close to the original Goku, it is obvious that Majin Buu has also become stronger and does not seem to be defeated so easily. Alas, it seems that it is too bold to leave the safety of the earth to two children. Wukong wonders if he had thought of this at the beginning. Just now I wanted to avenge Kikai, and now I am playing here. I am also drunk. In the barrage, many people felt dumbfounded. After all, this kind of battle is really rare. Some people were worried about the future of the earth. After all, Gotenks was too careless. Some people criticized Gotenks. Yes. At this point, Goku in the Dragon Ball world could only shrug. He didn't know why he would hand over the earth to two children in the future. These two children were much more naughty than Gohan back then. Damn it, Gotenks, what are you doing? Before you can fight properly, you know how to do some fancy things. You are simply losing face as a Saiyan. On the spaceship, Vegeta couldn't help but angrily yelled. In his heart, Saiyans should fight upright. What is this careless fighting method? From the beginning, they should use all their strength to kill their opponents. That's right. The screen continued to play. Gotenks did not get any benefits from fighting Majin Buu. Even blasting Majin Buu to pieces and then using Qigong to destroy the chunks of meat was of no use. On the contrary, it turned into smoke and returned to its original state. Then, Piccolo asked Gotenks if he had any ultimate moves that he had not used yet, but Gotenks pretended to be anxious and shouted in order to tease Piccolo. "Without, there is no other way, I have no strength now, I can't use my special move, we are finished, it seems that we have no hope." Then, Majin Buu also cooperated very well, using the freely retractable tentacles on his head to grab Gotenks' feet and swing them around, constantly bombarding them on the ground. The terrifying force caused the mental time room to collapse. They couldn't help but shake, and miserable screams kept coming out. "It hurts. Now I'm really angry. You bastard." After being violently blasted away by Majin Buu, Gotenks stood up and decided to use his ultimate move, ping pong, pong, pong. "Now I will use my special skill, and let you see what's next. This is my trick." However, before Gotenks could finish his words, boom! A bright wave of light instantly hit the door. The terrifying power instantly caused the house and the door to be blown into powder, and the violent vibrations even caused the temple to everyone was awakened. Compare, Uncle Bick, what's wrong? Seeing this, Gdunks couldn't help but shed a drop of cold sweat on his forehead. That's it for you, Majin Buu. Ignoring Gdunks, Piccolo looked at Majin Buu, and in the latter's surprised eyes, he slowly opened his mouth and continued, the world you are in now, and the entrance to the real human world has been blocked by me. Broken. Hearing this, Majin Buu and Gdunks' eyes widened instantly, their mouths opened so wide that they were unable to speak for a moment. There's nothing wrong with you being really powerful. It's a pity that Gdunks can't defeat you. Looking at Majin Buu's expression, the corners of Piccolo's mouth raised slightly, and a faint smile appeared on his face, but no matter how powerful you are, you will never be able to escape from this place in your life. Compare, Uncle Brick, that, we are not, stunned on the spot, Gdunks looked extremely confused. If he could, he just wanted to strangle himself to death. What the hell are you pretending to be, good guy? It's okay now, everyone can have fun. In this regard, the strong men from all major dimensions couldn't help but give a thumbs up to Piccolo. Although they don't know what Gdunks' special move is, they probably can't defeat Majin Buu, so it seems that this is the best ending. After all, they can still use the Dragon Balls to resurrect, and Majin Buu can only stay here forever. Okay, after you kill us, you will be alone here forever. In the picture, Piccolo looked at Majin Buu with a smile, and then continued, there is nothing here. To read exciting novels, go to Fila Novel Network. Candy, candy, I want candy. Ignoring the quarrel between Piccolo and Gdunks, Majin Buu came to the entrance of the ruined temple with a helpless look. However, in the shocked eyes of Piccolo and Gdunks, Majin Buu waves of light blue mist rose from his feet, blue veins popped up all over his body, and an incomparably powerful aura continuously emerged from his body, and then continued to rise until it reached its ultimate level. I want to eat candy. As Majin Buu's big mouth opened, a terrifying breath instantly spat out from his mouth, and a terrifying hurricane swept out instantly. The powerful breath caused the space in front of him to continuously distort and be on the verge of collapse, and pink lightning carried terror. The power is constantly bombarding everything in front of it. Boom! As the powerful breath burst out instantly, the terrifying power instantly blasted a circular hole with a diameter of about 1 meter in the space in front of him. The camera came to the temple, and the terrifying aura penetrated the space, instantly shattering the space that originally separated the two worlds, and a terrifying hurricane swept out in an instant. Click! Click! In front of Majin Buu, a large, dark, round hole was constantly flashing with light green lightning, shrinking bit by bit, and the scene of the black hole was the scene in the temple. In response to this, countless people in the world could not help but widen their eyes. Majin Buu, this guy, actually shattered the space in one breath. Although blasting space is not very powerful in some worlds, it is built in a world with weak space. Some powerful worlds cannot shatter space at all. If someone really achieves the goal of blasting space, that kind of power will be it's so scary. Obviously, the space in the Dragon Ball world is very solid. Even the bombardment of the planet explosion cannot distort the space. It is conceivable that the space in the Dragon Ball world will be much stronger than the space in many worlds. For example, the Heimenkai kick in the Naruto world distorts space, but how powerful is that kick? Is it enough to destroy the planet? That is obviously impossible, but in the Dragon Ball world, Frieza, who only has a fighting strength of 530,000, and even Vegeta, who has a fighting strength of more than 10,000, have the power to destroy planets. It is conceivable that such fighting strength, what a huge difference. In other words, when Vegeta in the Dragon Ball world goes to the Naruto world, he is likely to shatter the space in the Naruto world with a full blow, and the gap between Vegeta and Majin Buu is no longer the same dimension. Based on this calculation, if you want to shatter the space of the Dragon Ball world, How powerful the power must reach to be able to achieve such a shocking feat. In the picture, Bu, the young man, got out of the cave before it disappeared, while Gidunks and Piccolo felt aggrieved and ran over to pounce. In this way, those who should be trapped escaped, but those who should not be trapped are still inside. As soon as the camera turned, Gaku on the side of Kaioshin realm suddenly felt Majin Buu's anger coming out, but without Gidunks, what on earth happened, and he couldn't see the scene on the earth. However, the old Kaioshin said that he just wanted to see what happened on the earth. Come and give you a crystal ball to see, so Wukong and others happily watched the live broadcast. The camera returned to the earth, and Majin Buu came out and saw a group of surprised people eating melons. As the head of the family, Krillin saw that his wife and children were threatened, so he asked number 18 and the others to escape quickly, and he rushed forward to fight Majin Buu. It's a pity that Krillin's fighting power at this moment is almost nothing. As soon as he went up, he was turned into chocolate by Majin Buu, and was eaten into his mouth by Majin Buu. Then he took the escaping number 18 and her the daughter turned into chocolate, and the others turned into chocolate and ate them without any surprise. Gidunks and Piccolo, who were still trapped in the spiritual time room, also imitated Majin Buu and roared at the top of their lungs. However, their combined voices could not compare to Majin Buu's and could not break the space. I have no choice but to use that trick. I originally thought I could use this trick in a more grandiose situation. Sighing, Gidunks put his hands on his hips helplessly and spoke. Then, under the unbelievable eyes of Piccolo and countless people in the world, Gidunks took a deep breath, and then veins popped up all over his body. Then he lowered his body, his legs were half tied into the horse stance, his fists were clenched suddenly, and his smaller body was shaking constantly. Etc. This action, could it be said that? No, how old are they? Seeing Wutenki's actions, countless people in the world became suspicious, and a strange and silent atmosphere instantly filled the world. At this moment, there was a sudden thud in the hearts of countless people, and an incredible idea emerged in their minds. Taking stock of the people in the world, starting with the fate of the country. Author, Red Lotus. Chapter 152. At this moment, countless people in the world were shocked by the thoughts in their minds, and it was difficult to imagine that they would have such thoughts. But at the next moment, dazzling golden light burst out from Gidunk's body, and terrifying air waves continued to sweep out from its center. At this moment, violent golden light bloomed instantly, like a spark hitting the earth, shining loudly in the entire spiritual time room, causing the originally white spiritual time room to be instantly dyed with golden light. The ground began to shake violently, and the powerful and heart-stopping aura continued to rise on Gidunk's body, rising rapidly as if there was no peak, and even faintly surpassed the aura when Wukong changed to Super 3. Click. Click. The violently dancing azure blue lightning continued to fill Gidunk's body, huge roars continued to explode, and the terrifying lightning destroyed everything in the air. As the blue thunder became more and more violent, Gidunk's expression also became ferocious at this moment, and the earth-shaking roar that resounded through the sky instantly spread throughout the entire spiritual time world and even all the heavens and worlds. At this moment, endless aura continuously emerged from Gidunk's body, terrifying energy suppressed the entire sky, and unparalleled powerful pressure swept across the world in an instant. Seeing this scene, countless people in the world suddenly lost their composure, and their expressions became shocked and horrified at this moment. How old are they? I'm afraid he's not even 10 years old, right? In the world of One Punch Man, Bangu's face was full of shock. How could he have such a powerful aura at such a young age? This power is undoubtedly to transform into the third level of Super Saiyan. Besides, Xiao Tatsumaki couldn't help but swallowed his saliva, and his whole body was trembling involuntarily. Sasuke, I think you should think about it. After all, I really think this fusion technique is too powerful. You see, After two children fuse and practice for a period of time, they can transform into a Super 3. In the world of Naruto, Naruto swallowed, turned his gaze to Sasuke and continued, maybe the two of us fused Naru Sasuke may have reached the level of the Six Paths Sage. This time, Sasuke rarely refuted Naruto, and his heart couldn't help but twist. If, he said, if he and Naruto can really fuse, then will their strength be enough? He surpassed Itachi in an instant, and then he could take revenge on Danzo and bring Itachi back. Oh, I'm burning up, Gray, let's fuse too. In the fairy tale world, Natsu couldn't help but cast his gaze at Gray. You know, the only person in the entire guild who has the same aura and height as him is Gray. No, how could I possibly do such a shameful move? Besides, Gray was wearing boxers and said with his hands on his waist. Hey, Gray, you can even do it naked, what's wrong with you? Pointing to Gray's lower body, Natsu said with a look of disdain. After hearing this and looking at his own lower body, Gray couldn't help but widen his eyes. Nanny, where are my pants? No. Impossible, are Saiyans really that talented? Why are these children able to have miracles happen one after another? In the world of death, Aizen was stunned on the spot, his face full of disbelief. From this point of view, you can still practice after fusion, and you can still practice with the qualifications after fusion. This is really terrible. In the world of one leaf covering the sky, a certain being in the restricted area of life is absent and exclaimed. Two little guys with mediocre strength, after fusion, have actually reached a state that we can't ignore. I think this method is feasible. Another being in the life forbidden zone couldn't help but nodded. As a result, the 7 forbidden zone existences continued to communicate, and the visions of heaven and earth caused by their exchanges frightened countless people. It's interesting, but I don't know if there is an upper limit. In the great world of 9 heavens and 10 earths, Meng Tianzheng couldn't help but touch his beard, with a faint smile on his face. Good, so awesome, Gadunks. In the Dragon Ball world, Krillin and others were so shocked that they were speechless at this moment. Even the grief and anger of being killed just now flowed away like a tide at this moment. Li. Awesome, is this fusion? On the North Realm King, Wukong also froze on the spot, and was shocked in his heart. You know, his future self had to practice hard for more than 10 years to reach that state, and now the two children have actually done it, too. No wonder the future self would trust the two children so much. It turns out to be like this. At this moment, the shame that Goten and Trunks' awkward dance fusion brought to countless people in the world has completely dissipated, replaced by a feeling of incomparable amazement that shocked countless well-known strong men. You know, others worked hard to practice, but Gotenks, the fusion of the two children Goten and Trunks, they have easily reached a super level that they have never been able to achieve in their lifetime. Moreover, at this moment, Gotenks is about to surpass Kakarot and become the most powerful Saiyan. In the picture, Goten Gotenks' muscles continued to expand, and powerful breaths continued to spurt out. The world lost color at this moment. Gotenks' whole body continued to flash with dazzling golden light, and his long golden hair appeared in everyone's eyes. It lengthened little by little under the gaze, until it completely dropped to the waist. Buzz. As the dazzling golden light suddenly appeared, countless people in the world were instantly blinded. Then when their eyes gradually regained their vision, they realized the complete appearance of Tenks appeared before their eyes without reservation. They saw that the golden aura around Gotenks was constantly surrounding him, the wildly dancing azure thunder light kept flashing, and the terrifying aura kept sweeping over him. When the moment came out, an extremely depressing sense of terror and oppression arose instantly. How on earth did you do it? Looking at Gotenks' appearance, Piccolo couldn't help but open his mouth wide, and his eyes almost fell out of their sockets. How did you do it? I don't know either. You're scared, right? Smiling faintly, the corners of Wuten's lips raised slightly, but this is really powerful, but To read Bao's Huang novels, go to Fila Novel Network. In the doubtful eyes of all the worlds, Wudong took out a mirror from somewhere and looked at it narcissistically. While touching his face, he continued, "This face seems to have become a little bit naughty." Correct. This is just like Uncle Piccolo. Overtake, Super Saiyan Phase 3. Could it be that these two children, they have surpassed Goku? Besides, Piccolo's eyes were still wide open, as if he didn't hear Gidunk's words. And this scene also made countless people in the world feel dumbfounded. Even though he has become the third level of Super Saiyan, he is still acting so weird. I really can't stand these two kids. Now is not the time to talk nonsense, because it won't last long. Walking to the side, under Piccolo's surprised eyes, Gidunk's took a deep breath, and then his breath suddenly rose to the extreme. Disaster. Could it be said that Gidunk's also wants to shatter the space? Looking at this scene, the strong men from all major dimensions couldn't help but swallow their saliva. The next moment, ah! In the eyes of everyone, Gidunk suddenly shouted, terrifying waves of air swept out of his mouth in an instant, and blue thunder swept out continuously. The unparalleled power instantly caused the space to become distorted, and then exploded into a circular pit. The Temple of Heaven in the middle, an extremely powerful breath instantly shattered the space and opened the dimensional wall connecting the spiritual time room. But at this time, Majin Buu had already eaten everyone in the outside world, and then Gidunk's had already Piccolo also successfully escaped from the spiritual time room. Strangeness. Have you changed a little? Looking at Gidunk's appearance, Majin Buu had a look of doubt on his face. Fool. This is not called a little bit, I have become very, very, very powerful now. Crossing his arms, Gidunk's raised the corners of his mouth slightly, feeling very satisfied with Majin Buu's reaction. When the camera turned, Goku and Kaioshin looked at Gidunk's who appeared in the crystal ball, and couldn't help but he said in surprise they came out, and it turned out that the two children were still alive. So angry. Could it be, is this fusion? Besides, Kaioshin couldn't help but exclaimed. Right? They have merged and transformed into the third stage of Super Saiyan. Nodding, Wukong's face was filled with relief. The third stage of Super Saiyan. Hearing this, Kaioshin was a little confused. Then Goku briefly explained the Super Saiyan, and was amazed at the achievements of the two children. The camera returned to the Celestial Temple, and after learning that everyone in the Celestial Temple after being eaten by Majin Buu, Gidunk's anger reached its peak. Powerful golden flames instantly exploded around him, blue thunder continued to dance wildly, and powerful waves of energy swept across him. Come out, destroying everything around instantly. I'm really angry this time. With one step, Gidunk's body suddenly disappeared from the place, and his body instantly appeared in front of Majin Buu like a meteor. Without the slightest hesitation, Gidunk's punched out suddenly, the body of Majin Buu and the temple were instantly blown away, and then he continued to beat Majin Buu. For a moment, Majin Buu fell into a disadvantage and was constantly passively suffering from Gidunk's beating. Seeing this, countless people in the world couldn't help but become excited at this moment. The faces of those who supported the Saiyans were full of excitement, while those who supported Majin Buu held hands tightly. Clenching his fists, his teeth crunched. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Taking stock of the people in the world, starting with the fate of the country. Author, Red Lotus. Chapter 153. In the scene, Majin Buu, who was constantly being beaten by Gidunk's, actually sneered and said that he had not waited for Gidunk's in vain. Later, Majin Buu used his very resilient body to dodge thousands of Gidunk's attacks, and then grabbed Gidunk's feet and threw Gidunk's to the ground. Just when Majin Buu wanted to take advantage of the victory, Gidunk's cut Majin Buu into two pieces with a surprise move, and then used the ultimate flash bomb to blow Majin Buu's body into pieces. Minced meat. But Majin Buu is simply unkillable. His body that was blown to pieces immediately changed back to its original form, entangled Gedunk's body, and then violently pushed Gedunks to the mountain. Throwing it out, the terrifying power instantly caused a huge pit to appear. After reacting, Gedunks spit out more than a dozen little ghosts in one breath, instantly blasting Majin Buu into pieces of flesh again, but Majin Buu soon recovered. The proud Gedunks made a face at Majin Buu, and then turned into a stream of light and disappeared. The proud Gedunks thought that Majin Buu could not catch up. However, Gedunks turned his head and was grabbed by Majin Buu's hair. A purple energy bomb exuding a destructive aura was instantly bombarded from his hand. The terrifying power instantly destroyed Gedunks 733. His body flew out, blasting the temple to pieces. Then Majin Buu pursued the victory and rolled his body into a ball, constantly impacting the celestial temple. In less than a while, there was only a small place left in the celestial temple to stand. Fortunately, Gedunks used a golden donut move to turn Majin Buu into a volleyball. Then with the help of Piccolo, Gedunks punched out with all his strength, with unparalleled power. In an instant, the volleyball hit the ground like a meteor. The terrifying power caused the ground to shake continuously, and countless smoke and dust flew into the sky. As the smoke dissipated, a huge pit that was dozens of kilometers long and bottomless appeared in front of everyone, but at this time, Majin Buu stayed inside and did not come out. Gedunk's fusion time is also very limited, because a lot of energy is used in combat. If he disintegrates and wants to fuse again, he has to wait for an hour's skill cooldown. And just when Gedunks was proud, Majin Buu suddenly appeared behind Gedunks, and then opened his big mouth, and terrifying energy poured out from his air, pouring into it without reservation. On Gedunks. Terrifying power swept across all directions. From a distance, the entire city was destroyed in an instant. Terrifying hurricanes swept out, the ground began to shake, huge thick fog continued to fly out, and terrifying the high temperature causes the surrounding temperature to continue to rise. As the smoke slowly dissipated, Gedunk's appearance became extremely embarrassed, and even his long hair was blown away at this moment. So Gedunks, not to be outdone, also blasted out a mouth cannon. The terrifying golden light instantly illuminated the entire world. Unparalleled terrifying power swept across the heavens and the world. Even the space was violently distorted at this moment. In the horrified eyes of Majin Buu and countless people in the world, the golden shockwave instantly hit Majin Buu, bombarding Majin Buu without the ability to resist. Ah-da-da-da-da-da. Seeing this, Gedunks suddenly stepped forward and beat Majin Buu repeatedly, beating Majin Buu's body to the point where it was difficult to recover for a while, and his nose was bruised and his face was swollen, which made people even more frightened. Look how awesome I am! Located not far from Majin Buu, Gedunk's golden chi flame suddenly exploded. His aura continued to rise at this moment, and he made a gesture of using Qigong waves with his hands. I will definitely beat you this time. The pieces are so thin that they fly everywhere when blown by the wind. But this time, you won't be able to change back again. I will destroy your anger as well. Go to hell. Just when everyone thought that Majin Buu would be defeated by Gedunks, an unbelievable scene made them feel dumbfounded. In the picture, Gedunks burst out with an unprecedented aura, the moment when he was about to blast out the Qigong wave. Bang! A burst of white smoke emerged from Gedunk's body. Due to insufficient fusion energy, Gedunk's Super 3 state directly changed to normal. With his eyes widened, Goten Kes stood there with a confused look on his face, his eyelids kept twitching, and the corners of his mouth began to twitch. In response to this, countless people in the world just wanted to say, "You deserve it. Let you two brats wander, now waste yourself." Taking advantage of this gap, Majin Buu took the opportunity to return to his original state, while Gedunks carefully wanted to stay away from Majin Buu. Hello. With the corners of his mouth raised slightly, Majin Buu looked at Gedunks with evil intentions. Gedunks, who was discovered, could only pretend to be crazy, stroke his hair and said with a smile, ha 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 ha, it's really nerve-wracking. It was so enjoyable just now. No. Oh no. This time we are done. Hateful, in mid-air, Piccolo's face turned green for an instant, and a drop of cold sweat slid down his forehead. In response to this, the people in the world who supported the Saiyans also felt a chill in their hearts. I have to say, Saiyan humans are indeed a powerful race, but their character is too wild. If this Gedunks had even 50% of the stability of future Trunks, this Majin Buu would have been destroyed in the spiritual time room as a result. Some people were happy and some were worried, and those who supported Majin Buu were extremely happy. Ha ha ha, let you seek death, Majin Buu-sama, kill them all, the world is destroyed by ghosts, and the ghosts headed by Oniwutsuji kept laughing wildly. Destroy the world, destroy the entire universe, Majin Buu. In the world of One Punch Man, the hungry wolf couldn't help but look up to the sky and laugh wildly. Ha ha ha, in the end it was Majin Buu who had the last laugh. In the world of pirates, Blackbeard couldn't help but take a swig of strong wine and let out an intoxicating laugh. Bad, oh no. The earth is going to end now. Is Gohan still okay? Dragon Ball World, Klin and his group swallowed their saliva, feeling chilled in their hearts. Woo woo woo, my Trunks is going to be killed. Besides, Bulma couldn't help crying. The screen turned to Kaishin. To read Bao's Huang novels, go to Fila Novel Network. Wukong rushed in front of the old Kaishin, his face full of anxiety. He shouted, "Old Kaishin-sama, please hurry up, okay? Those children's fusion power has weakened." "Is it true, Dad?" Hearing this, Gohan couldn't help but exclaimed. "Yes, they will be killed," Wukong nodded, his face full of solemnity. "Good. Then go quickly. In fact, we have already finished it." At this time, the voice of the old Kaishin came out faintly. Already done." With their eyes widened, Wukong and the two Kaishins couldn't help but swallow their saliva. That's a lot. How long ago?" Standing up, Gohan couldn't help but ask Zero. "It should have been 5 minutes ago." In response, Gohan couldn't help but said, "Why didn't he tell him about this earlier? Fool. Wouldn't it be more dramatic to wait until they are in crisis?" Rolling his eyes at Gohan, the old Kaishin spoke unhurriedly. Hearing this, countless people in the world felt dumbfounded. Each of these people is really better at what they do. "How can I break through the boundaries and become the strongest warrior?" Gohan asked. "Don't you often transform into that super thing?" Glancing at Gohan, the old Kaishin continued unhurriedly, "Just like that, just concentrate your energy. Are the essentials the same as Super Saiyan?" "Okay, I know." Nodding, Gohan made preparations to explode. Hello. Just wait a moment." Looking at Gohan's movements, the old Kaishin couldn't help but widen his eyes, but before he could finish his words, a roar that resounded throughout the world instantly spread throughout the world. Ah 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 ah. As Gohan shouted loudly, endless power continued to emerge from his body. A terrifying hurricane swept across the entire Kaijin planet in an instant. The aura continued to rise as if there was no peak. In an instant, he surpassed Super Saiyan 2nd level, and even Super Saiyan 3rd level, reaching unprecedented heights. Boom! Terrifying hurricanes continued to sweep out with Gohan as the center. The powerful air waves instantly blew the old Kaishin's body away. The green grass was razed to the ground at this moment. The powerful air currents continued to impact the entire place. Kaioshin, mountains, rivers, vegetation, sea fish, etc., everything is constantly swept by the terrifying storm. Powerful aura continuously emerged from Kaioshin until it spread throughout the entire universe. Click. Click. In the horrified eyes of Wukong and countless people from all over the world, azure blue thunder continued to surround Gohan and then continued to emerge to the entire world. Layers of air waves continued to sweep out, and the sky was in this for a moment. It lost its color, and the earth began to tremble continuously. The earth was even filled with terrifying thunder. Looking at the earth-shattering scene, countless beings in the world felt extremely horrified. Most people were stunned on the spot. Even the super-powerful people in some worlds had solemn expressions. How is it possible that just by developing your potential, you can actually reach such a terrifying state? How on earth is this done? In the world of Jishin, the existences of countless ancient families couldn't help but scream in horror, and even the taboo existences in the restricted area of life frowned at this moment. And this scene continues to happen in all the worlds. At this moment no one thought that the old Kaishin was bragging, and they began to marvel at Gohan's powerful strength. Without the slightest surprise, this super powerful aura has far surpassed the Super 3 forms of Goku and Gotenks. Reached another dimension. If I have to use one word to describe it, it would be that Gohan has reached the realm of a god. Not a god on earth, but someone who has the power to control the life and death of a universe, and even destroy it. God of the universe. Although it may be a bit exaggerated, there is no doubt that it is. Gohan's strength at this moment is already close to that edge, and he is halfway into that level of super existence. Taking stock of the people in the world, starting with the fate of the country. Author, Red Lotus. Chapter 154. No. Impossible, I can't feel his breath after such a powerful aftermath. The aftermath of his explosive energy is obviously so strong, but I can't feel his presence. This is impossible. In the world of Demon Slayer, the pillar-level strongman froze on the spot, looking at Gohan who could not feel the breath in front of him. Meeting, could it be because his aura is too powerful and has far surpassed our dimension, so we cannot feel this powerful aura? Swallowing, Yanzu couldn't help but frowned. After all, apart from this possibility, there is probably no other possibility. After all, Aizen behaved like this when he fused with Bengyoku and faced ordinary humans. Unless Aizen automatically releases his pressure, otherwise ordinary humans would not be able to feel his spiritual pressure. Good, what a powerful smell. This powerful force has far exceeded the sum of all the magic in our world, reaching an unprecedented level of power. In the world of fairy tale, Ziref couldn't help but admire. No. Impossible, how could humans reach this point? Located somewhere in the world, the body of the Black Dragon King Aknologia couldn't help but tremble, his huge eyes filled with horror, and the pair of dark wings that did not belong to the dragon curled up tightly behind him. Facing such a powerful god, for the first time in his life, he felt what it means to kill someone with just one look. There is no doubt that such a powerful existence can kill it instantly with just one look. This kind of power is like a person without a mortal with no magic power can be killed with just one look in front of him. Old 04, why can't I feel Gohan's breath? In the world of One Punch Man, Genos couldn't help but turn his head to look at Saitama. I don't know, maybe it's because the system blocks your perception. After all, with Gohan's aura at the moment, you probably can't bear it, and you may even explode to death. Saitama raised his eyebrows. He thought for a moment and spoke slowly with a serious expression. On the spaceship, Boros's single eye continued to flow blood-red liquid, and his whole body trembled involuntarily, with a fear coming from the depths of his soul. The feeling continued to spread throughout the body. At this moment, even a strong man of his level could not completely withstand Gohan's aura. The whole body began to be constantly shrouded in terrifying pressure, and he felt like he was on the verge of collapse, but due to their own strength, they will not be oppressed to death by the aura, and they are just in that point where they are neither up nor down. In the world of pirates, the four top emperors in the sea are about to collapse at this moment. If the system hadn't blocked a large part of the powerful pressure, they might have been crushed to death by Gohan's aura at this moment. Sky, oh my god, I am the most powerful creature in the sea, land, and air, but I can't even withstand his pressure. I no longer have the face to face this Yonko. Looking up at the sky at 45 degrees, Kaido collapsed on the ground. In the Fate world, the hero King Gilgamesh was speechless. His expression was horrified, and all the cells in his body seemed to be. This kind of power, the Saiyan bloodline is so powerful. I don't know how many dimensions it is ahead of me, reaching the true realm of God. In the world of death, Aizen looked at Gohan in a daze, and the jade in his body was constantly vibrating. This guy's aura has actually reached that level, and it seems that it hasn't fully exploded yet. Although it's not very powerful, even we have to take it seriously. In the world of one leaf covering the sky, some beings in the life-restricted area couldn't help but frown, their faces full of solemnity. This level of power, in their world, is also a superpower, the fusion of Gedanks. After all, it is only external force, but this is real power. Although it still relies on external force, it can always maintain this state. What a terrifying ability. No wonder this old Kaishin was sealed back then. If it were me, I would probably seal him too. Some people in the restricted area of life uttered such exclamations, and some people agreed. However, there were also some powerful beings who felt very disdainful. You must know how powerful they were back then, even though they cut themselves off. But the strength can still crush Gohan easily. You don't even need to use your hands, you can suppress him just by breathing. 2. It's amazing, Gohan is so amazing. In the world of Dragon Ball, Piccolo couldn't help but exclaimed. Beside him, little Gohan couldn't help scratching his head, his face turned red, and he felt a little shy. After all, he is also him in the future, and the current one makes him Uncle Bick, who he was a little scared of, was actually praising him. This was so rare. Not bad strength. This kind of power has almost touched the realm of God. I think it is just a last resort, but it is a pity. In the God of Destruction, Beerus raised his eyebrows. There is no need to say more about the rest. After all, this way of overdrafting your potential in advance must come at a price. In the picture, feeling the powerful power in his body, Gohan couldn't help but be shocked. This power was so powerful that he felt scared. Great, Dad. Clenching his fists, Gohan couldn't help but share his joy with Goku in the distance. Yes. It's really awesome. What a great experience. Wukong was also extremely excited about this. Amazing. Gohan has indeed crossed the line, the Kaishin duo on the side couldn't help but marvel. I can't believe it. Although his appearance doesn't seem to have changed much, and he hasn't transformed into a Super Saiyan, he still has such great power. Feeling Gohan's breath, Wukong couldn't help but sigh. Humph, that's not to say that transformation is a good thing, that thing is simply evil. With a cold snort, the old Kaishin patted his clothes. So, at the urging of Kaishin, Jabit will take Gohan to the earth. I'm sorry Gohan, I'm in another world now, even if I go there I won't be able to help. Arriving at Gohan's body, Wukong had a faint smile on his face. I really want to appreciate it up close. Your power is really much greater. We will never see each other again, at least until you die. Come on, we must defeat Majin Buu. Yes. To read Bao's Huang novels, go to Philu Novel Network. After hearing this, Gohan couldn't help but step forward and hug Wukong. After all, after this separation, it is very likely that they will never see each other again. Goodbye, Dad. Encouraged by Goku's thumb, the bodies of Gohan and Gabit instantly disappeared into Kaijin. The camera turned, Gabit brought Gohan to the earth, and at Gohan's request, Gabit changed Gohan's body. Wearing the same clothes as Goku. Then the camera turned again. On Gedank's side, he returned to normal and did not intend to give up. Then he used the ghost kamikaze fist, intending to use this move to defeat Majin Buu. Exploded into rubbish. This was because this move had been used on Majin Buu too many times, and because it was used regularly, the power had declined. So he took a deep breath at Majin Buu. The little ghost was blown away in an instant, and not long after, the two naughty children also disintegrated. Now they were really defeated by Majin Buu. The two of them had no choice but to think of apologizing to Majin Buu. And Trunks even said that Majin Buu's IQ is so low, and they should be forgiven if they give him a little heart. Piccolo couldn't help but stumbled when he heard this, and countless people in the world felt even more dumbfounding. At this moment, if those who support the Saiyans had not seen Gohan's great strength, they would have wanted to shoot these two guys to death. When Majin Buu was in sight of victory, he did not rush to kill the funny trio, but fell asleep, which made the funny trio a little confused. A moment later, Piccolo suddenly felt an extremely powerful aura, and then his eyes suddenly looked to the sky. Whose anger is this? Someone is here. Trunks on the side also felt something strange. You know, all the humans on the earth are dead. Who can have such a powerful aura, and also possess such terrifying speed? Good, so strong. This energy is too strong. No. Have no idea. Who is this? Is it a new enemy? Or? A drop of cold sweat ran down his forehead, and Piccolo's expression was solemn. At the same time, Majin Buu's eyes suddenly looked to the sky. His face was extremely ferocious, as if he had encountered a strong enemy. I saw that violent sounds of breaking through the air continued to sound, and a figure with black hair and orange clothes suddenly appeared in my eyes. The terrifying speed had even reached the speed of light, approaching everyone's location. At this moment, the wind and clouds continued to surge, and the breath that hit the face instantly swept the entire audience, and the BGM of the protagonist made a grand debut. Yes, it's Wukong. Looking at the familiar clothes, Beak exclaimed. Wrong. It's my brother. Elder brother. Looking at the familiar figure, Wushin recognized the person immediately. Brother Gohan. Trunks on the side couldn't help but be a little confused. You must know that Gohan is already dead. In the surprised eyes of the trio and the admiring eyes of countless people in the world, Gohan stepped across the trio with a calm expression, landed directly not far from Majin Buu. Great, caught up. The corners of his mouth raised slightly. Gohan glanced at everyone with his peripheral vision. Brother is so good. It turns out you are fine. Looking at Gohan's back, Goten's face was full of excitement. After some explanation, Gohan learned that everyone else on the earth had been killed by Majin Buu, and then Majin Buu he even sneered and said that they were really delicious. But at this moment, Gohan felt a faint breath. How could this energy be Gohan? Wrong. It's different. Although his face has changed a little, his anger is completely different from before, and his childishness is also gone. Looking at Gohan in front of him, Piccolo's face was full of disbelief, and he even forgot to talk to Gohan for a moment. With a cold snort, Gohan's mouth corners slightly raised, looking at Piccolo and others as well as the gods under the surprised eyes of all worlds, Gohan walked towards Majin Buu step by step. The steps were very light, without any power leaking out, but the powerful aura and unparalleled killing intent in the air made him countless people in all the worlds feel extremely scared. Everyone knows at this moment that a war is about to begin. Taking stock of the people in the world, starting with the fate of the country. Author, Red Lotus. Chapter 155. In the picture, Gohan came to Majin Buu in front of everyone's surprised eyes. The distance between the two was only half a meter, and Gohan's height was much shorter than Majin Buu. From a distance, Gohan's height only reached Majin Buu's chest. However, the power exuded from Gohan is not inferior to Majin Buu at all, and even vaguely surpasses it. Hello. Do you want to fight me? With a sneer, Majin Buu spoke with some disdain. Although the aura exuding from Gohan's body at this moment was very strong, it had not yet reached the terrifying aura of Gdunk's Super 3 level. And even Gdunk's even C Super 3 form can't defeat him, let alone just a little Gohan. You are wrong. I'm going to kill you. The corner of his mouth raised slightly, and Gohan's calm voice came out. Hearing this, Majin Buu's face showed a little surprise, and then Gohan's appearance appeared in his mind, and then he laughed and said, ha 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 ha, I remembered, you are the guy I defeated not long ago. You said you wanted to kill me. But I think you want to be beaten up by me. You know, Gohan was defeated by him not long ago, and now his strength has obviously become stronger again. How could this former defeated general be his opponent? No. Impossible. Judging from his energy, although Gohan's power has improved a lot now, no matter how much he improves, it is still impossible to win in a real fight. In the distance, Piccolo couldn't help but worry. You know, although Gohan's strength has improved now, he is still far from Majin Buu's opponent. Over, ruined. We have to merge quickly and fight with my brother. At this moment, Goten couldn't help but become anxious. After all, this is his biological brother. He finally found out that Gohan is not dead yet. How could he put Gohan into crisis again? Moreover, now that his parents are dead, Wuxian Rice is his only relative. It's useless. It's impossible without an hour. Hearing this, Trunks was also a little helpless. I know this, but we can at least give it a try, otherwise my brother will do the same. Looking at Gohan's figure, Goten's eyes couldn't help but fill with tears, and his unwillingness instantly surged into his heart. All right. Even if it doesn't work, let's give it a try. Nodding, Trunks also felt that he had to give it a try. Don't worry, Goten and Trunks, Gohan has become very strong now. In the world of Dragon Ball, Krillin couldn't help but smile with joy. After all, he had seen Gohan's explosive aura before, and now he just waited for Gohan to beat Majin Buu. In the picture, just when the two were about to fuse again, Gohan took a step towards Majin Buu. Looking at Gohan's sudden approach, Majin Buu's heart suddenly trembled, and the indescribable psychological effect made he couldn't help but take a step back, and when he reacted, Majin Buu's face became extremely angry, his fists clenched involuntarily, and he kept roaring. You know, he is Majin Buu. And now, he is defeated by a former subordinate. How is this possible? How can this kind of thing happen to him? He is Majin Buu. Ah. In Majin Buu's surprised eyes, Gohan's roar spread throughout the heavens, and a powerful aura spurted out from all over his body in an instant. In just a moment, boom! The terrifying aura swept out instantly, and layers of air waves with strong auras swept out, setting off countless smoke and dust. The earth-shattering aura and air waves swept out instantly like a tsunami. The whole earth couldn't help but shake at this moment. The sky, the earth, the rivers, the mountains, etc. were all overturned by the terrifying air waves at this moment. The sky lost its color at this moment, the earth couldn't help but let out bursts of mourning, and countless buildings it collapsed, and scenes like destruction of heaven and earth were constantly being staged in every corner of the earth. Feeling this powerful aura that surpassed Super 3 Gdunks in an instant, a drop of cold sweat slowly flowed from Majin Buu's forehead, and he couldn't help but start to feel fear in his heart. And just when he was stunned, Gohan's body shot out like lightning. Boom! Without the slightest hesitation, Gohan kicked Majin Buu's right foot, causing his body to tilt. Then he suddenly hit Majin Buu with a heavy punch until he foamed at the mouth and his eyes widened. The whole face was instantly distorted. This. Piccolo's eyes suddenly widened in the distance, and Goten and Trunks, who were performing fusion movements, also stopped their hands at this moment, showing an incredulous expression. The aura that Gohan just burst out actually surpassed Super 3 Gdunks in an instant, and he seemed to still have some power left. Under the horrified gazes of Piccolo, the others, and all the world, Majin Buu's body suddenly took a few steps back, barely managing to stabilize his body with great difficulty. However, Gohan flew up again, and then he knelt in the air and landed on Majin Buu's face again. The terrifying power made Majin Buu foam at the mouth again, and invisible ripples were formed where the two collided. Spread instantly. To read exciting novels, go to Fila Novel Network. Brat, you are tired of living. Turning around and looking at Gohan behind him, Majin Buu's face was filled with anger. Then he clenched his right fist suddenly and blasted it towards Gohan. Violent ear-piercing sounds continued to explode. The terrifying power contained in it even caused many people in the world to feel palpitations. However, under the incredible gazes of Majin Buu and countless people, Gohan steadily caught Majin Buu's heavy punch with one hand, and even there was no ripple at the corners of his clothes, as if he were an adult playing with a child. Snort. Gohan snorted disdainfully, then suddenly punched Majin Buu on the chin, and then hit Majin Buu with a heavy punch in the abdomen. The terrifying power did not leak out at all. In an instant it poured towards Majin Buu's body. Pain, so much pain, so He stepped back continuously, unable to say a word, and looked at Gohan in front of him in disbelief. Okay, brother Gohan. In the distance, Trunks, who was watching the battle, couldn't help cheering, while Goten and Piccolo were a little distracted. At the same moment, the entire world was feeling extremely afraid of Gohan's power. I originally thought that although Gohan's strength has become very strong, there shouldn't be much problem in defeating Majin Buu, but what's going on with this overwhelming strength gap? Shouldn't the battle be fought for 300 rounds first, and then no matter how difficult it is to win, why is the situation different from what they imagined? With just a few punches and kicks, Majin Buu was suppressed to death, and he couldn't even fight back. Is this Gohan's strength? It's too powerful. In the world of pirates, Luffy was stunned on the spot, his eyes were stunned. Logically speaking, shouldn't Super Saiyan be stronger? How come you don't transform into Super Saiyan, but instead become stronger than Super Saiyan? The third level is even more powerful? 2. It's so wonderful that there is such a powerful man in the world. With this cold appearance and unparalleled strength, could this be the lover of my dreams? In Daughter's Island, Hancock, one of the 7 seas under the king, couldn't help but clench his legs, his face was extremely blushing, and he looked at Gohan in the picture with charming eyes, feeling the wonderful waves in his body. The feeling kept coming, and my whole body was shaking involuntarily. This kind of gap in strength is just like the gap between me and Aizen in the moonless state. This is no longer a battle in the same dimension. It seems that there is no suspense in this battle. In the world of death, Kurosaki Ichigo raised his eyebrows and couldn't help but praise. Such a powerful power control ability, he actually poured all the power in his body into Majin Buu's body without any reservation, maximizing the damage. In the world of Saint Seiya, known as the being closest to God, Virgo Shaka couldn't help but sigh. You know, every strike of Gohan in the picture carries extremely powerful and terrifying power, but originally these powers it will cause Majin Buu's body to fly backwards. But under Gohan's perfect control, not even a trace is leaked, and all of it flows into Majin Buu's body without reservation. The control of this kind of power, even he felt out of reach. No. This is impossible. How could Majin Buu be suppressed so easily? This must be acting, right? Tell me Majin Buu. In the world of One Punch Man, Hungry Wolf couldn't help but look at Majin Buu roaring in the picture. His whole body trembled involuntarily, and then he knelt down on the ground and cried bitterly. Good, so strong, this kind of power is really too powerful. I'm afraid it's a state I won't be able to reach no matter how much I practice. At Saitama's home, under Genos's incredible eyes, Saitama's nerves were tense, his clenched fists creaked, and the expression on his face kept changing. Mono Zhao, and this scene made Genos extremely shocked. You know, Saitama has been in a sluggish state since he became bald. Even Boros could only ask Saitama to be serious for a moment, but at this moment, Gohan actually asked Saitama to say these words. It's incredible. His teacher, the man who he thought had a god living in his body. This man who was hailed as a transcendent god by the person inventory video of all the worlds, actually gave in at this moment, and just watching the picture actually thought that he had no chance of winning. Searching. No. Impossible, Kakarot's son is actually so powerful, I don't believe it. In the world of Dragon Ball, Vegeta couldn't help roaring, and the anger kept rising in his heart. Nappa on the side also smiled bitterly. You know, Gohan is only a few years old now, and he seems to be older than Vegeta. Small, right? But in the future, Vegeta was actually surpassed by Goku and Gohan one after another. Even though he had practiced hard for more than 10 years, he still couldn't compare to Gohan's potential development. Originally, Vegeta thought he has surpassed Gohan, although he has not surpassed Goku, but that is understandable, and Gotenks is at least because of fusion. But what kind of Gohachi are you, Gohan? You have obviously failed in studying, and now you actually backhand a king bomb. It made everyone's brains buzz. I don't want you to cheat like this. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Taking stock of the people in the world, starting with the fate of the country. Author, Red Lotus. Chapter 157. Hello. You two brats, come out. I want to fight you too. In the picture, the corners of Majin Buu's mouth slightly raised, looking at Trunks and Goten in the distance, he spoke. What? Stop talking nonsense, Buu. Now it's up to me to deal with you. Frowning, Gohan raised his thumb, pointed at himself and shouted. Ha 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 ha, I want to decide the outcome with those two brats first, and then I will fight with you. With a sneer, Majin Buu pointed at Trunks in the distance and spoke. However, Gohan expressed that he did not understand, why waste time like this? In this regard, Majin Buu did not pay attention to Gohan, but he mocked Trunks and even asked if the other party was scared. As the camera turned, Majin Buu's back began to squirm continuously, and then in the blind spot of Gohan and others' perspective, two pieces of pink flesh separated from Majin Buu's back, and then continued to avoid the perspective of several people, and burrowed into the darkness. Bad, damn it, Majin Buu must have some tricks up his sleeve. In the Dragon Ball world, Piccolo's expression changed drastically when he looked at Majin Buu's movements. And countless people in the world also changed their expressions at this moment, and the people who supported the Saiyans began to screaming, and even constantly reminding Gohan on the barrage, but it is impossible to see it after all. The villains who support Majin Buu can't help but show a ferocious smile. Sure enough, Majin Buu must have some kind of plan, otherwise he wouldn't have appeared so boldly in front of Gohan and others. Oops, it really is the Strick, find it out quickly. In Kaioshin, the Kaioshin who was watching the scene couldn't help clenching his fists, his face full of anxiety. Back then, Majin Buu relied on this move to devour the southern Kaioshin, and then swallowed the great Kaio. God, now it seems obvious that Majin Buu is going to use this move. In the scene, as Majin Buu taunted, the two naughty children did not show any weakness, and in order to show off in front of Gohan, the two said that they must kill Majin Buu this time. Although Piccolo found that things were a bit strange, he still couldn't resist these two naughty kids making their own decisions. Although Gohan disagreed on the surface, due to curiosity, he did not. After seeing the fusion of Goten and Trunks, he finally agreed to the duel between the three of them. Moreover, it had been an hour since the last fusion, so it was just time to fuse again. So, in the world under everyone's gaze, the two performed a dance fusion again. As a dazzling light shone, Super 3 Gotenks appeared again. The powerful aura still made people feel extremely oppressive. However, at this moment, imagine the two small pieces of meat released by Bu were slowly approaching Piccolo and Gotenks. Then, in the shocked eyes of countless strong men from all major dimensions, when the two of them were not paying attention, the two pieces of meat suddenly the bag opened and wrapped Gotenks and Piccolo. No matter how hard Gotenks tried, he couldn't break free. Gohan and Dandy on the side couldn't help but were stunned, and they were stunned for just such a moment. The two of them were completely wrapped in pieces of meat, and then flew in the direction of Majin Buu. "You're welcome." The corners of his mouth raised slightly. Majin Buu looked at the two lumps of meat and couldn't help but reveal a smile of success. Ken, hateful, looking at the squirming Majin Buu, Gohan's face was full of anger and regret. He could never have imagined that he had made such a serious mistake just now and let Majin Buu find him. By chance, Gotenks and Piccolo were caught by Majin Buu and began to devour them. No. Oh no. This is what it looks like. In Kaioshen realm, Wukong, who was watching the live broadcast through the crystal ball, couldn't help but become extremely anxious, and then yelled quickly, "Come on! Gohan! Hurry up and attack now!" Besides, Kaioshin and Gabit also widened their eyes at this moment. Cold sweat was constantly flowing down their bodies, and the cells in their bodies felt as if they were frozen at this moment. When the camera turned, Majin Buu on the earth continued to he let out a low roar, and white thunder flashed from his footsteps until it enveloped his whole body. His whole body was wrapped in pieces of flesh, and he looked extremely disgusting. But his aura continued to rise at a speed visible to the naked eye, and in an instant, in a short time, he surpassed Gohan and reached an unprecedented height. Click! Click! As the white lightning continued to dance violently, Majin Buu's body was also constantly changing, and his arms first it appeared in front of everyone's eyes, and then the head, body, and legs began to appear continuously. Looking at this scene, Gohan did not dare to act rashly. After all, if he was not careful, he would probably kill Gotenks and Gotenks. Piccolo was killed by Piccolo. Buzz! As an invisible wave spread out, Majin Buu's body was completely reflected in the eyes of everyone in the world. He was wearing the fusion armor that would only appear on his body. The small vest and the tentacles on the head have become extremely long, hanging down the back like an elephant's trunk. However, what is more frightening is not the change in Majin Buu's appearance, but the change in his aura. If the aura of Majin Buu before was like a river, then the aura of Majin Buu now is like a piece of Wang Yang, unfathomable. Just the aura that his body emanates autonomously, even countless, the super strong man who has been famous all over the world for a long time is extremely frightened. It's over, Majin Buu actually swallowed Gotenks and Piccolo, and his aura became much stronger than before. It's okay now, these Saiyans have killed themselves again. Oh my god, it's unimaginable that such a change would happen. Why didn't Gohan attack just now, and why didn't these two people explode when they were wrapped in pieces of meat? That's it, it was obvious that those pieces of meat could be shaken open, but they couldn't do it. Gohan was also there in a daze. Ha 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 ha, Majin Buu is the only faith in the ruins, kill them all, Majin Buu. Humph, the little Saiyan really doesn't know how high the sky is. Do you now know how powerful Majin Buu is? Alas, I didn't expect Majin Buu to become smarter. I always thought he was just a guy who only knew destruction and eating, drinking and having fun. I didn't expect him to be so smart. To read exciting novels, go to Fila Novel Network. Come on Gohan, Don't lose to Majin Buu, otherwise the Earth will be over. I estimate that the current Majin Buu may be the most powerful existence in the universe. Although Gohan is also very strong, the Majin Buu who swallowed Gotenks is obviously stronger. At the bottom of the screen, countless barrages passed by. Some people said that Saiyans are too reckless, some people were questioning why Gohan didn't do anything just now, and Gotenks didn't know how to explode. Break free. But the happiest people now are the villains who support Majin Buu. This wave is simply fighting for their face. I originally thought that Majin Buu would be left alone, but unexpectedly things turned around. Such a powerful aura, this power has obviously begun to approach our realm. In the world of one leaf covering the sky, some beings in the forbidden area of life couldn't help but exclaimed. Although Majin Buu at this moment is not strong enough to pose a threat to them, even they have this power. Take it a little seriously, after all, this is enough to destroy the Milky Way and is even close to destroying the universe. Over, it's over. Majin Buu's current strength has far surpassed that before. This power can't even be matched by Gohan. The universe is about to end. In the world of Dragon Ball, Kaioshin and Gabit hugged each other and cried, feeling that the future was uncertain. It's really over this time. Majin Buu's aura has become so powerful that it has far surpassed Gohan. On Earth, Clint squatted on the ground holding his bald head, trembling involuntarily. Oh he, good job Majin Buu, just kill them all like this. Lying deep in the universe, Frieza couldn't help covering his mouth and snickering. Ken, damn it, I didn't expect this Majin Buu to be so despicable. Now the Earth is going to be in crisis. On the Kaioshin planet, Wukong couldn't help clenching his fists, his face extremely ugly. On the third floor, I didn't expect that someone would have such powerful strength. I want to fight with him. In the God of Destruction, Beerus couldn't help but raise his eyebrows, with a faint smile on his face. The scene continued to play. Majin Buu kept looking at his body, feeling the terrifying and powerful battle in his body at this moment. Force, with a satisfied smile on his face. How about it, Sun Wuhan? My strategy worked and you can see it, great right. Looking at Gohan in the distance, the corners of Majin Buu's mouth raised slightly, and then the long and large tentacles on his head gently tapped the boulder at his feet. The terrifying power instantly turned the boulder into powder and disappeared between heaven and earth. At this moment, even the future may not appear. The strongest Majin Buu has been born. You are so despicable. He actually used this method to attack the two of them. Looking at Majin Buu falling not far in front of him, Gohan said angrily. It's all your fault. I was the strongest person in the world. Who asked you to surpass me? Pointing at Gohan, Majin Buu's voice came out faintly. I started planning this plan from the moment I felt your presence somewhere far away. I thought that maybe there was someone more powerful than me in the world. At that time, I thought that as long as I absorbed the kid called Super Gotenks who was fighting with me at that time, no matter what kind of person appeared, I would still be the strongest. Hearing this, countless people in all the worlds couldn't help but feel their scalps numb and their spines chilled. Unexpectedly, this Majin Buu is so terrifying. Even when he fought Gotenks before, he didn't even use his full strength and started planning all this. This is really scary. You have to know that you are not afraid of the villain being powerful, but you are afraid that the villain has a brain. Obviously, this Majin Buu's brain works surprisingly well. At this moment, Majin Buu taught the strong men of all dimensions a profound lesson in life. This lesson is called, people cannot be judged by appearance, and sea water cannot be measured. Taking stock of the people in the world, starting with the fate of the country. Author, Red Lotus. Chapter 158. In the picture, after the two people exchanged words, the battle was about to break out. Boom. As if they had agreed, the figures of both parties suddenly disappeared in place, and then suddenly collided with each other. Invisible ripples spread out instantly, and an extremely powerful aftermath swept out in an instant, shattering everything in the entire area. Bang 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 bang. The terrifying sense of oppression swept across the entire world like a spark hitting the earth. In the horrified eyes of countless people, the afterimages of Gohan and Majin Buu continued to appear. The two people's movements were extremely fast, and they continued to move in mid-air, colliding. In less than an instant, the two collided thousands of times, and the power of each punch exceeded the knowledge and understanding of countless powerful people in the world. Boom! 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 The shadows of fists that exceeded the speed of light fell like a violent storm. Each blow caused the atmosphere to be instantly blown away, and the space began to turbulence. If he had not deliberately controlled his power, I am afraid that just the aftermath of the two people's fight would have been enough to destroy the entire planet. At this moment, countless people in the world were stunned. The two men's strength, speed, extremely powerful bodies and frightening aura have completely subverted the worldview of countless viewers. Even most of the powerful players who appeared in previous videos, such as Bailey 413 Ya, Saitama, Boros, Aizen, etc., can't see clearly the movements of the two at this moment. This speed was simply unheard of, reaching the extreme. Unprecedented vacuum explosions continued to explode. The sky continued to shake at this moment, and the earth began to shake, roaring as if in mourning. The scope of the battle between the two was extremely vast. Mountains with a radius of hundreds of kilometers were constantly being flattened, and the earth was constantly cracked. Boom! As Gohan shouted loudly, golden light waves suddenly blasted out from his hands, and Majin Buu's hands also blasted out a purple light wave. The two unparalleled powerful Kigong waves instantly collided together. Just for a moment. Incomparably blazing light burst out instantly, and even in outer space, you can still see the bright light clearly. As the two people continued to increase the transmission of energy, a dazzling white light shone instantly suppressing the light of the sun. Circles of invisible ripples continued to spread, and the terrifying aftermath swept out instantly. Everything around him turned into dust at this moment, and the earth began to tremble continuously. Bottomless terrifying cracks instantly spread for dozens of miles in radius. All the clouds in the sky were blown away at this moment, and the blue sky it was reflected in everyone's eyes extremely clearly. As the smoke dissipated, the two bodies suddenly collided together again. In an instant, the terrifying roar erupted again, ringing continuously in the ears of everyone in the world. After a moment, the two men the person blasted out with the last blow, and then landed on two rocks with the help of the force of the collision. It seems like you haven't used your power to kill me yet. Standing on the rock, Majin Buu looked at Gohan not far away with a calm expression. There was no scar on his body. You want to test first to see how much strength I have, right? Hearing Majin Buu's words, countless people in the world were stunned at this moment. What? Your attack of that level just now was just a test? What kind of international joke are you kidding? How powerful are you two monsters? You really have Uncle Piccolo's mind. You've seen through everything I'm thinking. Now I'm in trouble. Pointing to his head, Gohan couldn't help but snorted. Okay, in this case I want to fight seriously. As Gohan's voice fell, the two bodies suddenly collided together again. However, when the two figures appeared in the eyes of the audience was shocked to find that Gohan's attack was actually blocked by Majin Buu. It was easy to resist. Gohan's eyes were filled with shock, and then he suddenly launched his legs again, but Majin Buu easily grabbed his legs. Come on, what other tricks do you have? Grabbing Gohan's legs, an evil smile appeared on Majin Buu's face. Buzz. Without the slightest hesitation, a golden energy bomb exuding a destructive aura suddenly blasted out from Gohan's right hand. However, Majin Buu easily dodged it by turning sideways, and then his neck was tied up by the long and large tentacles on his head. The unparalleled strength made Gohan's face become ferocious, and he tried to open it with both hands. Restrained. Hey! Majin Buu's tentacles suddenly twitched, pulling Gohan's body forward, and then punched out suddenly. The unparalleled power instantly blasted Gohan's body away. Buzz! There is no trace of it. After hesitating, Majin Buu stretched out his right hand, and the purple Kigong bomb containing the aura of destruction was instantly blasted, arriving in front of Gohan in an instant. Gohan, watch your back. In Tianation's exclamation, the purple Kigong bomb fell instantly, and the destructive power instantly submerged Gohan's body. At this moment, everything around him was reduced to ashes and became the dust of the world. The bright and dazzling white light reflected now in the eyes of everyone in the world. At this moment, many people's faces turned pale and felt extremely palpitated. Although this explosion did not cause a powerful and terrifying scene, the energy contained in it was no more powerful than the previous self-destruction. It's not much different, but it concentrates the energy together to maximize the damage in a small area. Once hit, even a strong man like Gohan will probably suffer huge damage. Gohan, hold on. In the picture, Goku of Kaioshin looked at the crystal ball that was constantly shining with purple light, his face full of anxiety. Ancestor, can Gohan really defeat Majin Buu? Say it quickly. To read Bao's Huang novels, go to Filu Novel Network. Seeing this, Kaioshin couldn't help but cast his eyes on the old Kaioshin, and shouted anxiously. Looking at this scene, countless people in all the heavens and worlds people also pricked up their ears, wanting to hear the old Kaioshin's answer. After all, it was the old Kaioshin who developed Gohan's potential. It seems that besides Gohan himself, the old Kaioshin should be the one who knows the best about Gohan's strength at this moment. People. However, under the attention of everyone, the old Kaioshin calmly replied. Have no idea. Hearing this, Kaioshin couldn't help but collapse to the ground, his eyes widened, and he said in despair this, it's so irresponsible to say that. Is the earth about to end? On the earth, looking at the center of the thick dust and fog that was constantly rising, Majin Buu fired a green energy bomb again, and then said loudly, what's wrong? You hid your anger and did you want to buy time? In other words, you already know very well in your heart that you will never be able to defeat me if you continue like this. As the camera turned, Gohan's figure appeared in the screen. There were only some scars on his body. It was obvious that the blow just now did not completely hit him, but Gohan's expression became extremely ferocious. For Majin as for Buu, even if he doesn't want to admit it, it is indeed an ironclad fact. After all, Majin Buu at this moment is too powerful and cannot be defeated by him. 0. Ah 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 ah. Continuously roaring, Gohan's body burst out again, and the movements in his hands kept blasting towards Majin Buu, but he was easily dodged, and was even teased by Majin Buu one after another, leaving more scars on his body. It started to increase continuously. As time continued to pass, Gohan's body was once again blasted into the ruins. When the smoke dissipated, people saw Gohan standing in the pit with scars, breathing heavily, and the breath on his body it was no longer as powerful as before, and then it even knelt down on the ground, almost losing its ability to fight. It was just a brief confrontation, but the situation was tilted towards Majin Buu. Everyone was almost certain that Majin Buu would win in the battle between the two. This huge disparity in strength even made Conan, the god of death, a schoolboy. Can understand. With such a huge gap, people who support the Saiyan side feel extremely desperate. How to fight this, Gohan has obviously tried his best. In the Demon Slayer Butterfly House, Tanjiro collapsed on the ground, his eyes filled with despair. This can't be called a battle anymore, right? Yes, this overwhelming gap is much larger than when the full body Cell faced off against Vegeta. Besides, Inashuk couldn't help but sigh. Could it be said that the world is really going to end? In the Fate world, Shiro Emiya stared at the scene in shock, and King Arthur on the side couldn't bear to watch anymore. After going through so many things, with such a powerful Saiyan guardian, in the end, will you still have to fall under the hands of Majin Buu? Come on, Gohan. In the world of Naruto, Naruto couldn't help but start shouting, and the friends on the side also cheered for Gohan. Now, only Gohan is the only hope. If even Gohan is defeated, then the universe will be destroyed. It's going to end. In the Marvel movie world, all the heroes of the Avengers have an incomparable feeling in their hearts. Facing such a powerful enemy, even they can't fight against it. This kind of power is too powerful. Over, it's over, the Earth is finally over, and no one can help Gohan this time. In Dragon Ball World 5.0, Krillin couldn't help but shed tears. Ken, damn it. It's really over now. Gohan will be killed if this continues. In the picture, Goku, who is in Kaiosensing, can't help but beat the ground, his whole body is shaking, and his voice is full of despair. This is indeed beyond my expectation. In this case, Sun Wukong, go over and help. Under the surprised gazes of Wukong and others as well as all the worlds, the old Kaishin said calmly. Ken, but, I already. With a sigh, Wukong didn't finish his words. But most people in the world understand what Wukong means. After all, Wukong is a dead man now and has no way to interfere in the affairs of the earth again. I will give you my life so that you can go back. With a faint smile, the old Kaishin looked up at the sky at 45 degrees, leaving behind an unfathomable back figure. Old Kaishin-sama, you want to take your life, give it to me. Hearing this, Wukong couldn't help but exclaimed, and Gabit on the side even expressed how the noble King Kai could give his life to a human being. In response to this, countless people in the world also looked at each other with doubts on their faces. Ah! Can lives be divided? Taking stock of the people in the world, starting with the fate of the country. Author, Red Lotus. Chapter 159. If we don't do this, the entire universe will be destroyed, and Majin Buu will definitely come here. The screen continued to play. Facing Jobit's words, the old Kaishin shook his head. So, give my life to Wukong. Hearing this, Kaishin swallowed his saliva, then pointed at himself and said loudly. Boundary, Lord Kaishin. Jobit's eyes widened, and his scalp was numb from the shock of these two Kaishins. You know, Kaios are the most noble existences in the universe. How can they be used to exchange for a human's life? This is really it's so incredible. I didn't help when I was preventing Majin Buu from being resurrected, or when Gohan was training. I hope I can do a little bit. Faced with Kaishin's self-blame, the old Kaishin put his hands behind his back and showed a happy smile on his face. You don't have to force it, you are still so young, and I only have 1,000 years left to live anyway. You can live. Old Kaijin. Looking at the appearance of the old Kaishin, Goku, Kaishin, and others couldn't help but feel a sense of sadness. They understood that someone had to stand up and stop Majin Buu now. They were completely shocked by the selfless dedication of the old Kagami at this moment. Countless people in all the worlds looked at the appearance of the old Kaishin, and suddenly felt that the figure of the old Kaishin was much bigger in their hearts. Some emotional girls even cried, and some tough guys couldn't help but I wiped my tears secretly. Before, they thought that the old Kaishin was just a perverted old man. Although he had great abilities, his conduct made them feel disgusted. But I didn't expect that they would actually look at a gentleman with a villain's heart, and look at a man with true righteousness from a worldly perspective. You know, it's normal for a man who has been sealed away for so many years to become a little horny just after breaking the seal. After all, what can a man do if he's not horny? The old Kaishin is really a good man, otherwise Bulma, you would sacrifice your life for once and fulfill him. In the world of Dragon Ball, Clint couldn't help but look at Bulma aside. Yes, yes, after all, he is just an old man and can't do anything else. Let him feel the warmth and satisfy me at the same time. Besides, Turtle Immortal couldn't help but echoed, but the expression on his face was not serious. Bang! Bang! Without the slightest surprise, a big bump appeared on their heads at the same time. Roll, with a cold snort, Bulma's face was filled with determination. You know, although she is very open-minded, it is impossible for her to do that, and with an old man, it is better to let her do that kind of thing. Go to hell. The thought of her having sex with an old man made her feel goosebumps all over her body. If she showed a little bit, she could still accept it. Just forget it. What did you say? Is this real? In the picture, the fortune teller in the underworld has a drop of cold sweat on her forehead and asks the king of hell in front of her. No. I'm worried that if something happens, I'd better give him my soul and my body as well. As the voice of the king of hell fell, a burst of footsteps gradually sounded. Looking at the person in front of him, the king of hell then said, just go and help him. Although I don't think this is the right thing to do, it is a last resort in order to save the universe from the crisis. The fortune teller, who clasped her hands together and sat on the crystal ball, was also a little helpless. Countless people in the world were also baffled by the conversation between the two. To save the earth from the crisis, there is someone in the underworld who can defeat Majin Buu. Is that possible? Even Vegeta's current strength cannot pose much of a threat to Majin Buu. Etc. Vegeta. In the picture, a figure came in front of the two people. It was Vegeta. Vegeta had one hand on his hip and the corner of his mouth was slightly raised. Humph. You actually come to beg me, a wicked person. But since the other party is Majin Buu, I don't think I can meet your expectations. In this way, Vegeta was taken to the earth by the reluctant fortune teller. Although Vegeta's words were slightly reluctant, his expression was extremely confident. The camera turned, and he was on the earth. At this moment, Gohan was being choked by Majin Buu with one hand. His whole body was covered in scars and he was about to lose his fighting ability. Just when Majin Buu was about to kill Gohan, one man and one dog stood up. The visitors were none other than Satan and the previously adopted dog. When Majin Buu was attracted by one man and one dog, Gohan took the opportunity to break free and fight Majin Buu again, but he was still passive. Being beaten. Okay, goodbye. In Kaishin realm, under the reluctant gaze of Goku and others, the old Kaishin sat on the ground. An invisible wave passed through his mind. The old Kaishin's body also fell down, and his vitality continued to recede. And the halo on Wukong's head also disappeared at this moment. Woohoo, so touching. Grandpa, if I were in your world, I would definitely satisfy you. The old Kaioshin is really a righteous person, I admire him. Yoxi, let's go ahead like this, let's attack together with the three strongest Saiyans and defeat Majin Buu. Wukong is resurrected and the universe is saved. But, even if Goku is resurrected, Goku's strength still won't be able to defeat Majin Buu. Yes, even if you want to fuse, it will take time. To read exciting novels, go to Fila Novel Network. Now we can only place our hopes on the three of them. In the barrage, countless people began to praise the old Kaishin. At this moment, in their hearts, the old Kaishin is undoubtedly a righteous person. Some people are worried that even if Goku is resurrected, it will be difficult to defeat the devil. Buu. Come on, it's up to you, Wukong. In the world of Dragon Ball, Krillin and others couldn't help but clench their fists. In the picture, as the sad music sounded, Wukong looked at the body of the old Kaishin and said solemnly, "Thank you, I don't. Your sacrifice will be in vain." However, as Wukong's words fell, under the widened eyes of all the worlds and Wukong and others, the old Kaishin got up, with a halo on his head and shouted, "Okay. Go quickly. Seeing this, Wukong couldn't help but look confused. Countless people in the world were also dumbfounded, and some even said they were moved. And now that I think about it, after all, Gaku can come to Kaiwen Star even if he dies, and naturally he can stay on Kaiwen Star even if the old Kaishin dies. So, there is no difference between dead and not dead. In the scene, just when Gaku was about to leave, the old Kaishin stopped him and said that even the father and son could not defeat Majin Buu. Gaku paused, and then thought of fusion, but it was obvious that Majin Buu could not just watch the two of them fuse. So the old Kaishin took off his two earrings, saying that the two earrings can be combined as long as one person wears them at the same time, and the power of the combination is still beyond the fusion. Kaishin and Gabit on the side didn't believe it, so one took off the left earring and the other took off the right earring. Buzz! With a strong attraction, the two bodies collided together, and then a new Kaishin appeared, and became extremely powerful. Later, under Gaku's inquiry, the old Kaishin said that once he uses earrings to merge, he will never be the same again in this life, and that the old Kaishin also accidentally merged with a witch to become what he is now, and the ability to develop potential is also acquired in this way. Hearing this, Gaku couldn't help but fantasize about what he would look like after merging with Gohan, and he didn't know if he could go to school. In this regard, some people in the world said that there should be no problem, but some people also raised questions. If Gohan and Gaku merged, would Chi-Chi regard the fusion of the two as Gaku or Gohan? What about Bidalai? Don't you think you're going to faint in the toilet from crying? When the camera turned, Gohan on Earth was almost beaten to death by Majin Buu, but fortunately, with the wet nurse's daily treatment, Gohan's injuries were healed within a few seconds. In response, Majin Buu said that this was just a death struggle, and then used Qigong to kill him. At this moment, Tianjin Fan arrived and blew away the Qigong bomb, and wanted to 520 stop Majin Buu. It was just a Qigong cannon blast that didn't even burn a hair on Majin Buu's body. You trash, just disappear with the earth. If you can block it, and watch. Raising his hands, a huge purple energy bomb condensed on top of Majin Buu's head. A terrifying aura instantly filled the world. The entire earth was enveloped in purple light at this moment. The terrifying power caused all the people in the world to countless beings were terrified. Just when Majin Buu was about to blast out a huge energy bomb, Gaku finally used teleportation to rush to the earth, and cut Majin Buu's body into 3 pieces with a key slash. Dad, how can you come down? Gohan and others were extremely surprised by the appearance of Wukong. Countless people in the world began to get excited at this moment. Everyone knew that a big battle was about to begin. With the power of the combination, Wukong and others, one can definitely defeat Majin Buu. I remember meeting you. In mid-air, half of Majin Buu's body was floating in the air. He looked at Gaku's figure and said slowly, "That's right. You're that weird guy who can transform. How? Are you here to save them? Do not be silly. There was a big difference between me at that time and me now, you don't know it? You can only speak big words now. I have prepared a small prop that can increase your strength." Wukong put his hands on his hips and raised the corners of his mouth. He looked at Majin Buu without any fear on his face. What? Hearing this, Majin Buu couldn't help but sneer. I thought you were going to say something. The next moment, the half-body on the ground kicked Tianjin Fan away, and then merged with the upper half of Majin Buu's body again. Together. The guy's skill just now was pretty good, but he couldn't do anything after being kicked by me. You said you have some props that can improve your skill. I think you're just bragging. Looking at Gaku's figure, Majin Buu sneered and said, I tell you, no matter what you plan to do now, it is impossible to cause any damage to my body. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Taking stock of the people in the world, starting with the fate of the country. Author, Red Lotus. Chapter 160. In the scene, Gaku and Majin Buu exchanged harsh words, and then Gaku suddenly threw the earring in his hand towards Gohan. However, Gohan was so stretched that he couldn't even catch an earring. Then Majin Buu also discovered Gaku's intention, and then said contemptuously that it would be useless for you to combine, and he wouldn't do it either. It will satisfy both of them. Therefore, in order to give Gohan time to find the earrings, Gaku instantly transformed into Super 3, and then fought with Majin Buu. However, even in Super 3 form, Gaku was still no match for Majin Buu. Fortunately, the fusion time of Godunks in Majin Buu's body has passed, and Majin Buu's strength has been greatly weakened. However, when Gohan found the earrings, Majin Buu's originally broken tentacles had already arrived at Gohan's side. Under the horrified gazes of countless people in the world, half of the tentacles turned into a ball of meat paste, and then suddenly pounced on Gohan. As Gohan was absorbed by Majin Buu, a more powerful aura emerged than before, climbing up Majin Buu's body. At this moment, an unprecedented strong sense of suffocation came over instantly, exploding in the minds of everyone in the world. Finished, it's really over, on Kaioshin. The old Kaioshin who was watching the live broadcast through the crystal ball was no longer as calm as before, and the expression on his face became extremely frightened. At this moment, countless strong men from all major dimensions also suddenly changed their expressions. Finished, it's really over this time. This wave of Gohan's crotch was stretched so much that it was absorbed so easily. Alas, I really don't want to comment too much on the entire race of Saiyans. No wonder their bloodline is so powerful. It turns out that they are replaced with brains. You know, the strength of Majin Buu who absorbed Godunks has reached an indescribable level. It took a long time to wait until the time to merge. Unexpectedly, Gohan was actually absorbed. This time it was really cool. After all, Gohan's strength is steady and there is no time limit, and now Gaku is the only one left. What should we do next? Well done, this wave of heads is beautifully delivered. Majin Buu is now the only true god in the universe. Now, the Saiyans are completely cool. I think we should just surrender, you Saiyan monkeys. Compared to the audience who were neutral or supportive of the Saiyans, those who stood on Majin Buu's side laughed wildly. However, some people thought of Vegeta who was being taken to the earth by the fortune teller. At this moment, everyone just hopes that Vegeta can arrive soon, otherwise once Gaku is killed by Majin Buu, it will really be over. In the Dragon Ball world, Chi-Chi watched her son Gohan being absorbed. He felt as if his head was hit by a thunderbolt, and he screamed and then blacked out. In the northern Kaiwang, the corners of Gaku's eyes kept beating, and the corners of his mouth began to twitch. No matter what, he could not imagine that this happened. It will develop in this direction, and it will really be over now. A bunch of idiots were actually absorbed by Majin Buu one after another. It is really an embarrassment to us Saiyans. In the spaceship, Vegeta's face was full of anger. In any case, he could not have imagined that the Saiyans would continue to increase Majin Buu's combat effectiveness in this way, even though he was the one in front of him. It was a waste of time at first, but these people don't have long memories either. Oh, it's really interesting. Let me see what you can do this time. Deep in the universe, Frieza couldn't help laughing. Ha 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 ha, that's great. My strength has improved even more now than before, and I don't have to think about time at all this time. In the picture, Gohan's clothes appear on Majin Buu's body. Feeling the continuous powerful power in his body, his face is filled with a crazy smile. This powerful aura has made countless strong men in the world. Everyone was stunned. Even Majin Buu was bursting with confidence at this moment, as if the life and death of the entire universe were under his control. Unexpectedly, this Majin Buu's strength can actually become stronger by constantly absorbing strong people. It is really unexpected. In the world of one leaf covering the sky, some ancient families couldn't help but exclaimed. At this moment, Majin Buu's strength has far surpassed them and has reached the quasi-emperor level. This is the quasi-emperor. A powerful person of quasi-emperor level. Although the system of the Dragon Ball world is too focused on strength compared to their world, no matter what, the quasi-emperor is the quasi-emperor. Even if only the power reaches the quasi-emperor level, it is not comparable to them. Yes, since ancient times, one force has conquered 10 groups. You can make all kinds of tricks, but I will defeat them with my own strength. What are you going to do? You originally wanted to merge with Sun Wuhan, right? In the picture, Majin Buu looked at Goku with a sneer, then raised the corners of his mouth slightly and said, but he has already entered my body first, and now no one can merge with you. Okay, now I'll give you a chance to get together, but I'll only give you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3. Without, no solution anymore. Find someone else. Wukong looked at the earring in his hand, his eyes widened, and he couldn't help but scan the people around him. Heaven, Tianjin Rice also fell down. When he looked at Satan, Wukong couldn't help but be stunned, and instantly felt bad all over. Now, only Satan and Tian are left. Tian is not a fighting warrior, and combining with him will have no effect at all. Fusion with Satan will increase Wukong's power by 1000. You can't win if you don't have enough strength, and if you don't do it well, your skill might even decrease. Everyone in the world agrees with this. After all, the strength of this guy Satan is obvious to all. He is obviously a weakling in terms of strength, but he just likes to show off. You can't blame me for this. I don't know that I will be like this in the future. In the Dragon Ball world, Satan's expression is also a bit unnatural. After watching the inventory video for so long, he has long known that there are many powerful people in this world, and his vision is not as narrow as in the future scene, but it is not his fault that he is weak. 2. In the picture, Majin Buu's voice fell several times, and Goku's face was filled with anxiety, and then his heart sank, and he decided to give it a try. Damn it. I can only resign myself to fate. Satan, pick this up. However, just when Wukong was about to throw the earring in his hand at Satan, a powerful aura suddenly entered Wukong's range of perception. This anger is, good, what a powerful energy. Could it be that? Feeling the powerful aura that suddenly appeared on the earth, Wukong instantly guessed who the visitor might be. At this time, 5 seconds had passed, and Majin Buu also slowly said, "What's wrong? Don't you want to merge? In this case, just die." As the voice fell, Majin Buu's hands suddenly clasped together, and then rushed towards Goku's direction. However, Goku moved faster and disappeared from the place in an instant, leaving behind an angry look on Majin Buu's face. As soon as the camera turned, Goku's figure appeared next to Vegeta, who had just been brought to the earth by the fortune teller. Seeing that the person coming was Vegeta himself, Goku's face was full of excitement. Really, in the end, you still have to rely on me. In the world of Dragon Ball, Vegeta folded his arms and couldn't help but look away, but the corners of his mouth were slightly raised. You know, he is the only one who can save the universe now, and soon he will be in all the worlds. In everyone's eyes, merging with Kakarot to save the universe. And the way is just to wear earrings, which is barely acceptable. If he wants to dance and fuse like Goten and Trunks, then he will not agree even if he does. In the picture, Goku was extremely excited when he saw Vegeta appearing, and Vegeta's face was also surprised. There is no time. Vegeta puts this thing on his right ear so we can be one. Handing the earring in his hand to Vegeta, Goku's tone became a little urgent. Fit, looking at the earrings in Goku's hand, Vegeta frowned slightly. Goku nodded, "That's right. As long as we combine our two powers, we can become a powerful warrior. Stop joking. Why should I merge with you? Rather than merge with you, I would rather die again. Crossing his arms, Vegeta snorted coldly. Today, Vegeta will, even if he was beaten to death, starved to death, and humiliated by Majin Buu, he would not have merged with Kakarot. In response to this, Vegeta couldn't help but frown while watching the video, his face a little confused. Although your future self has never seen this inventory video and has always regarded Kakarot as your opponent, if you are making such a fuss now, aren't you going to embarrass the Saiyans in front of everyone in the world? On the other side, Majin Buu laughed wildly, and then his body shot out and rushed towards Goku's direction. Goku and Vegeta were also in a constant stalemate, and soon Majin Buu and the two fought together. However, the two were no match for Majin Buu, and Vegeta he also knew that Wukong didn't use his full strength when fighting against him, which made him feel extremely angry. Finally, Goku expressed the forbidden feeling in Vegeta's heart. Vegeta, everyone has been eaten by the devil, Krillin has been eaten, and so has Shishi. There are also Piccolo, Gohan, Goten, Trunks, and your favorite Bulma. The moment he heard Bulma's name, Vegeta's pupils began to tremble violently, his whole body began to tremble continuously, and his face became distorted. Damn it! How dare this bastard? How dare you eat my Bulma? Yan. To read cool novels, go to Fila Novel Network. This is unforgivable, I must kill Majin Buu. In the Dragon Ball world, looking at this face of his future self, Vegeta slightly, SC's face couldn't help but blush, and Nabo beside him almost couldn't help laughing. On Earth, Klin and his group couldn't help but be stunned, feeling extremely depressed. Good guy, you were still showing off just now, but now when it comes to Bulma, you have changed your mind so quickly. In your mind, the Earth and the universe are not as good as Bulma? I really want to laugh, Vegeta, I didn't expect that you, the Prince of the Saiyans, would be controlled by Bulma. Taking stock of the people in the world, starting with the fate of the country. Author, Red Lotus. Chapter 161. At this moment, Bulma, who was the subject of Vegeta's taboo, could not help but blush with shame, and his heartbeat began to accelerate. Although this Vegeta is very arrogant, but why do I think he is handsome? Besides, Yamcha looked at Bulma's reaction and felt uncomfortable all over. Obviously he is still Bulma's pillow, and he just fought yesterday, and now you actually show such a little woman's appearance in front of me. It's really unreasonable. My uncle can tolerate it but my aunt can't. Really, Bulma is true love, and Trunks is most likely an accident. In the world of Conan, Yuanzi couldn't help covering his mouth and laughed. Come on, we must defeat Majin Buu, the universe depends on you too. In the world of Demon Slayer, the pillar-level strongmen couldn't help but shout out. Although they don't like Vegeta very much, only Vegeta can save the world at this moment, so they are willing to put aside their feelings for Vegeta. Gita's preconceptions. It's useless, even if you two merge, you still can't be the opponent of Majin Buu. Located in the Flower Street, Fallen Ji's beautiful face became extremely ferocious, her white teeth were gritted tightly, and traces of blood continued to flow down. Come on, I can be the Pirate King, but you must save the world. In the world of pirates, Luffy couldn't help shouting. If he had to make a choice between the current Pirate King and the world and even the entire universe, Luffy would choose the latter without hesitation. After all, there are so many wonderful things in the world. There are delicious food, important partners, and many interesting things. If you lose these things, then what is the use of becoming the Pirate King? You know, the Pirate King is the freest person in the sea. If you can't even achieve freedom, then the meaning of being a king will not exist. 150 Inherit the will of fire, and the wind of Konoha will burn. In the world of Naruto and others kept shouting. At this moment, Kakarot and Vegeta are the saviors of the world, just like Naruto and Sasuke in the original picture. Gaia, Diga, Dinah, Mebius, Taylor. In the Ultra world, countless humans shouted, and the warriors of the Ultra country couldn't help but shout. Stop them, Majin Buu. In the world of One Punch Man, the hungry wolf couldn't help roaring. Teacher, can Kakarot and Vegeta combine to defeat Majin Buu? At Saitama's home, Geno swallowed his saliva and couldn't help asking. Although he knew in his heart that Saitama probably didn't know, at this moment he also wanted to do something to make himself less nervous. Well, I think if they unite, they should be able to defeat Majin Buu. Besides, to Genos' surprise, Saitama thought carefully for a moment and said slowly. Unexpectedly, Saitama, who had never easily judged the development of an unknown thing in the past, actually expressed his thoughts for the first time. This has to surprise Genos. However, Saitama also came up with the answer after much thinking, because Majin Buu devouring Gohan and others is 1 plus 1, but the combination of Kakarot and the two is not 1 plus 1. It's so simple. With Godunks as a reference, it's not difficult to imagine the powerful strength of the two after they merge. Moreover, the old Kaishin also said that the strength of the earrings is stronger than the fusion. After the two Super Saiyans merge, his strength is close to Super 3, and he can transform into the third level of Super Saiyan. So the combination of Vegeta with Super 2 strength and Kakarot with Super 3 strength will definitely be stronger than Majin Buu. When the earrings are combined, what level will their combined power reach? In the world of one leaf covering the sky, Yefan couldn't help but be stunned. I am afraid, it will exceed everyone's expectations. If calculated according to the strength of our world, it will be at least at the quasi-emperor level, and may even reach the level of those ancient beings in the restricted area of life, that is, the Supreme. Besides, the Black Emperor made a rare analysis, and the final conclusion made him amazed. You know, what level is the Supreme? That is the strongest existence under the Great Emperor, and the master of every restricted area among them. They all fell from the Emperor's mirror with a self-cutting knife. Even the quasi-emperor would be easily killed in front of them. I didn't expect that in a Dragon Ball world with not outstanding rules, there are people who are expected to reach this point, even if they use external force. You two go to hell. The scene continued to play. The purple light waves in Majin Buu's hand condensed instantly, and his body suddenly rushed towards Goku and Goku like a meteor. The boulder under his feet turned into countless dust under the terrifying force. At this moment, Vegeta also received the earring from Goku's hand, and then put it on his right ear. Buzz! In the eyes of everyone in the world, the two people's earrings bloomed dazzlingly at the same time. Light green light. Then, with the huge magnetic attraction of the earrings, the bodies of Goku and Vegeta instantly collided together among countless rubble suspended in the air. Boom 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 boom. The blazing white light instantly illuminated the entire heaven and earth. The sun was like a firefly at this moment, being instantly annihilated. Even in the body of the universe, you can see a dazzling planet blooming with endless light in the distance. Then endless light burst out, and the center point of the collision between the two bodies was like an extremely dazzling star. Even Majin Buu, who was rushing towards them, stopped in mid-air at this moment. His face couldn't help but change drastically, and in his hand the originally blazing energy bullets lost their color at this moment. As the dazzling white light slowly dissipated, a dazzling humanoid figure appeared in the eyes of everyone in the world, followed closely by an incomparably powerful aura, and unprecedented fear continued to spread in Majin Buu's heart, and a sense of oppression like the weight of Mount Tai instantly enveloped him. At the same time, countless spectators from all over the world, their eyes were extremely round at this moment, staring at the dazzling figure that appeared in the picture. At this moment, they stopped even unnecessary movements such as breathing, abk. As the humanoid figure, when the bright light slowly dissipated, a man with earrings, a blue combat uniform, and fist boots on his hands and feet appeared in everyone's sight. His appearance was somewhat similar to Wukong, but similar to Vegeta. Boom! At this moment, huge waves surged in the hearts of countless strong men from all major dimensions. Their brains seemed to be struck by lightning, and a feeling they had never experienced before continued to sweep through them. The whole body and even baptized their souls. This was really shocking. And those strong men who could completely feel the breath of the man's body suddenly changed their faces at this moment, and their horrified expressions were constantly reflected on those people on his face. His soul felt as if he had fallen into an ice cave, extremely cold. To read Bao's Huang novels, go to Filu Novel Network. Looking at the man in front of him who was the fusion of Kakarot and Vegeta, a word emerged in the minds of countless viewers. God. Apart from this word, no one could imagine any other word to describe the man in front of them. How could he be invincible, the strongest, or unparalleled? These are all too low. At this moment, everything in the world seems to have lost its color in front of this man. The aura exuding from his body is incomparably powerful, as if he is a god above. This ordinary planet can bring him to the world. It's simply a great honor. It's so powerful, this kind of power, it's so wonderful. At this moment, the world of Demon Slayer, Pirate World, Naruto World, Bleach World, Saint Seiya World, Ultra World, One Punch Man World, Marvel Movie World, DC Movie World, Martial Arts World, Film and Television World, Daily Animation World, the strong men in the martial arts world, and even some fantasy worlds, and other worlds made sounds that sounded like they were talking in a dream. Unimaginable, this kind of power has reached our level. Although he is the weakest existence, there is no doubt that I feel a little threatening in him. In the world where a leaf covers the sky, the existence of the restricted area of life can't help but exclaim. Unexpectedly, two weak ants actually relied on earrings to merge and reach our level. It is really abominable. In the Immortal Mountain, the voice of the Stone Emperor came out, with a little anger and a strong murderous intention in his indifference. He couldn't believe that a person in the Dragon Ball world ants actually reached their level, even if they only relied on external force, but they had gone through countless hardships and defeated countless powerful enemies to reach that level. Stone Emperor, don't worry. Although their power has indeed reached our level, the system of their world is too weak. If they are our enemies, they may not even be able to withstand a divine thought. There is no need to be angry. A supreme being spoke to comfort him, his voice filled with unparalleled confidence. It's such a powerful earring. If it can come to that world and study it thoroughly, maybe we can become immortals. After all, those two ants can reach our level. If it were us, we should be able to become immortals directly. The Golden Ancient Emperor spoke at this moment. At this moment, the 7 restricted areas of the Emperor Burial Star began to move. One after another, extremely powerful spiritual thoughts rose up, sweeping the boundless wind and clouds, causing earth-shattering phenomena. That was the ancient Supreme Being. They were communicating, and they were also paying attention to the inventory video at the moment. Under the intertwining of their powerful spiritual thoughts, they created an extremely shocking scene. In the world of 9 heavens and 10 earths, Meng Tianzhen's eyes could not help but condense, and his eyes were full of surprise. Strange. Based on his knowledge, he has never seen this way of improving external power, and the strength is also very good. Sure enough, many worlds in the world are worthy of attention. 2. Great, these two guys Gukong and Vegeta really did not disappoint us. In the Dragon Ball world, Krillin and others couldn't help cheering. But Chi-Chi and Bulma looked at each other. At this moment, they couldn't help but have an idea in their hearts. In the future, Goku and Vegeta will become one, so what will happen to them? What to do? Could it be that 2 women serve the same husband together? That scene would be too exciting. No. Impossible. These 2 Saiyan monkeys have actually reached this level. Deep in the universe, Frieza stared blankly at the man in the picture. Interestingly, this level of strength has already reached the level of the 4th level. If you add transformation, it is estimated to be close to the level of the fifth level. In the god of destruction, Varus's eyes bloomed with dazzling light.